Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some consequences for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This is one that I snaggled for UhOhConsequences. Posted r/best of, collected by They Call Me Momo. The original OP doesn't matter. They've been suspended. Originally posted to r/legal advice. Content warning for sexual harassment. This best of is titled The Saga of the Director of Operations and What Not to Do When Accused of Sexual Harassment. I'm the Director of Operations at my company. Moments ago, I was told by my boss, in confidence, to prepare to be officially accused and made aware of a sexual harassment investigation on me. This is from an incident that occurred in June. I need to know what steps I need to take to protect myself. Here's what happened. In June, the company was attending a conference and bought hotel rooms for everyone. At the hotel pool, I chatted up with a female guest. I was getting pretty drunk and she brought up her husband. I asked, "Oh, you're married?" And she said yes, and that she has 3 kids. I told her that with a body like hers, I'm surprised she doesn't have 10, because I sure would give her 10. And I laughed. She smiled, and sometime later, she got out of the pool, and I said, "My oh my, your husband is a lucky man." I didn't see her again, and I got the vibe that she felt uncomfortable. I was a little drunk and would not have said any of that while being sober. Apparently, she found out the name of my company and complained to the hotel, who then joined her in complaining to my company. We are also banned from the hotel for life. I would like to know how I can get out of this with no blood on my hands. I make $125,000 a year and cannot afford to lose my job and career. It was everything for me to get this position. I also have a family. My wife cannot know about this. My boss, the VP of Operations, is a bit paranoid because I notified him 2 days after the incident and because I'm the best director he's ever had, and I perform exceptionally well. He decided to sweep this under the rug and pretty much ignore it. I would never throw him under the bus, so I will not mention that I told him. So far, all I know is that there has been a sexual harassment complaint on me and an investigation has opened up. I will be speaking with the investigator, I forgot his official title, and subsequently the HR manager and VP. I'm nervous about it. He's a former law enforcement detective, and from what I've heard, he's a pretty tough guy. He has a very aggressive interviewing approach and does not play games. He will try to get me to crack. My boss told me that he was advised that a suspension may be imminent and possibly prepared to seek a replacement. This means I might get terminated. I would like to know what type of proof there may be against me. This incident happened 3 months ago. I get off work in 3 hours and I cannot focus. This is devastating. Please provide in vivid detail the steps that I need to take starting right now. Here are some pearls of wisdom from one mod of r/legal advice. Let me illuminate to you the precarious situation in which you have placed yourself. The investigator sounds like the one they call when things go wrong, and things have indeed gone wrong. Thus far, you have been adrift in the sheltered harbor of your employer's patience. The decision to terminate you has likely already been made. The interview tomorrow is likely to determine whether the company thinks they can withhold your severance package or not. The interview and investigation process is not a court of law, and if your employer is unwilling to continue employing you, they don't need proof. Even in civilized jurisdictions with functioning employment protections, adequate notice or pay in lieu can generally overcome them, and your professional conduct directly harmed your employer's business by ending their relationship with the hotel. You can approach this in a few ways. You can refuse to cooperate with the investigation process. You will likely be let go for insubordination and refused any severance. Expect to get no reference, or a bad reference in the future. You can lie. As I said, the decision to terminate you has probably already been made, so it won't change the outcome, and it'll ruin whatever credibility you have left. You will likely be let go and refused severance. Again, Expect bad references. You can confront your behavior directly and ask your employer what they want to do about it. You might save your job, but expect to be watched like a hawk for the rest of your tenure, and to be the first up against the wall when downsizing comes, or if you put so much as 1 foot out of line in the future. More realistically, you'll still be fired, but you might come out with your professional reputation intact and with some of your severance. You can confront your behavior directly and bring your own plan to the table. If you show up with a plan to get into therapy and to repair the reputation with the hotel and a commitment to never embarrassing your employers like that in the future again, you might come out with your job intact. Or you might not. As I said, the decision has likely already been made. However, being honest and prepared is probably your best shot at getting notice or severance, and of leaving a good impression, and thus getting a good reference in the future. You can resign preemptively and avoid the issue entirely. In the future, if you think a course of action might embarrass you in front of your wife, that is a very good sign that you should not do it. While it's not a perfect fit, it's a surprisingly good starting point for thinking about sexual harassment as applied to professional situations. Relevant comments from OP. What happens if and when I deny this? Let me get better advice. The investigator is going to interview me in the morning. How do I handle that? I heard bad things about his interviews. What type of proof could they possibly have? One Redditor's reply to that: they don't need proof. This isn't a courtroom. We're not here to help you cover up for a screw-up. You don't have to answer their questions at all if you don't want to. And they don't have to keep employing you. Legal Advice OP's reply to that: they need proof that the employee they complained about is me to begin with, and proof that it occurred. Otherwise, I'm suing for wrongful termination. What if this was a false accusation? I'm certainly going to act like it is. I have too much to lose. Update 1. Surprise Pikachu face. I've been completely numb the past couple of days. I got fired. They fucking got surveillance of me. The investigator refused to show me the video and I denied the allegations vehemently. HR manager and VP said they interviewed several people and suspended me indefinitely. My boss told me afterwards to prepare for the termination notice. I told my wife I was laid off. She can never know the truth. I don't know how long I'm going to spend jobless. I worked hard to move up in the world and finally got the job of a lifetime with a great salary. This is devastating. Update 2. Legal Advice OP has moved on to r/advice since it looks like they didn't hold his hand when he confessed to being a creep. That, or he got banned from there. I was a director of operations. I was terminated for sexually harassing a non-employee at a hotel, a company function. I have applied for many positions as director and mid-level manager. I have 6 interviews set up. I know once I get to the reference check, they will contact my previous employer. I need to know what type of information they can legally provide. My now former boss has not returned a single call or text, and neither has HR. I would like for them to say that they laid me off as opposed to termination. I cannot get unemployment and have money to cover the next 6 months of bills, but would like to get back to working. What can my former employer tell a new employer? If they are allowed to tell them that I was terminated and why, how can I ever recover from this? I've never been so stressed in my life. I have a wife and children. Relevant comments from one Redditor. Your former employer can tell potential employers why you were terminated. A lot of companies have a policy of only verifying employment dates. OP's response: if they can state why I was terminated, then how do I ever recover from this? Another Redditor's reply: that isn't their problem. They have no vested interest in your future career. They owe you nothing. My advice is to assume your former employer will tell the entire story. It'll help you plan, and quite frankly, removing the uncertainty will help with your stress levels. You need to tell your wife, that way you can have someone who does have a vested interest in your future career to talk about plans, ideas, strategies, etc. Right now, you're spinning in the dark alone and you're making bad decisions. Yes, she may leave you, but it's in her best interests for you to be employed, married or not. It's good you're cutting down on drinking, but you can't really do this alone. Get professional counseling for the drinking. You have an opportunity here to make a dramatic change to your life, but you need to do it now while the consequences for your behavior when drunk are fresh at hand. Update 3. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again, unless you're legal advice OP. Then you throw a Hail Mary and go to r/AskHR for advice. I was a director of operations. I was terminated for sexually harassing an employee at a hotel company function. I have applied for many positions as director and mid-level manager. I have 6 interviews set up. I know once they get to the reference check, they will contact my previous employer. I need to know what type of information they can legally provide. My, now former, boss has not returned a single call or text, and neither has HR. I would like for them to say that they have laid me off as opposed to termination. I cannot get unemployment and have money to cover the next 6 months of bills, but would like to get back to working. What can my former employer tell a new employer, if they are allowed to tell them that I was terminated and why? How can I ever recover from this? I've never been so stressed in my life. I have a wife and children. I have never harassed an employee and never will. I also cut the drinking and will never screw up again. Please help. The top comment in that post is from one of the mods who saw their post on r/legal advice. Oh, you. Then proceeds to link the 2 posts. This is the last post from that account. I can guess why it got suspended. As a bonus, Legal Advice OP actually made a since-deleted post that predates this one, and it's a doozy. Recruiter hit me up on LinkedIn. She said there's a position she believes I would be a good fit for. This is a corporate position. I work as the same position right now, but would get more pay, which is nice. I told her that I greatly appreciate the offer, but I do not work with recruiters. If someone, particularly a senior VP, who I would report to, as I do now in my current role, believes I'd be a great fit, they can contact me and set up an interview. This apparently was the world's worst thing in the world to say to her because she sort of went off on me. Oh, are you trying to say you're better than me? Who do you think you are? Blah, blah. She carried on, but I didn't finish reading her message. I told her that I scanned her profile and saw that she just started this recruiting position in May of last year. Prior to that, she was a sales associate, aka cashier for a retail company. She's also very young, with such little work history and zero history with my particular work industry. I don't find her qualified to make a decision as to whether I, a director, would do well in that role with another company. She has no knowledge as to the vision, the leadership, the skill set required to succeed in such an important role. I'm not going to waste my time. With no experience in the industry, what questions could she ask me? Canned questions she finds online? The logic simply isn't there. If she were a longtime veteran in this industry, then I would certainly interview with her, because in that case, she would have the necessary experience to understand the position and know how to determine who would be a qualified candidate for the role. However, she is not experienced and does not have the ability to make such an impactful decision. Why a company would put such power in the hands of inexperienced individuals is beyond me. My company doesn't use recruiters. My boss, the senior VP, contacted me 2.5 years ago, and we had great discussions on the vision we had and so forth. A discussion I could not have with a college chick. She was very bothered by me and eventually said that she has thousands of connects and that I shouldn't talk to a recruiter like that, and that she could make a couple of calls and ensure I never get anywhere. Now, I'll admit I got a bit unprofessional because I don't appreciate threats. I told her the only power she has is in the vagina she used to get such a position. She ended the conversation by calling me a sexist asshole. I apologized for my comment and said I don't appreciate her threatening to take food off my table and that she should not have such an ego. Anyways, I need to know how fucked I am. Admittedly, she's gotten into my head. I'll be damned if a 22-year-old college chick tries to ruin my career. I mean, I also have thousands of connects as well anyways. I'll contact the senior VP in the morning and see if we can set up an interview. This commenter must be a soothsayer. I'm sure you're just a troll, but you're gonna have issues in the future if that's what you think about women. Good luck with your life. Why couldn't you just tell her no thank you, I'm not interested in the opportunity, and leave it at that? Instead, you attack her and say she only has value because of her vagina. I mean, honestly. I hope you reap what you sow. Bonus 2. The alleged wife found out just what her husband was up to. I don't believe him anymore, because about a year ago, he got fired from a decent job, $100K a year, director of operations. He told me it was because he disagreed with the COO about the company's direction. Whatever the hell that meant. That wasn't great, but I wasn't going to be mad at him for sticking his ground and trying to do the right thing for the company. And it wasn't like we couldn't afford him to be out of work a while. I don't make as much as he did, but it's very decent money, and we had plenty of savings. Plus, we could save on childcare and housekeeping if he stayed home with our son, right? Our house had never been messier. Well, 3 months later, he found a job. Glory hallelujah! He'd get up, go jogging, put on a shirt and tie, and he'd be out until after I got home. We adjusted childcare hours and brought the housekeeper back, and I didn't think it was weird that he was putting so much time in. It was a brand new job and he just got fired. He had to prove himself. 2 months ago, I was home with our son, who brought some kind of god-awful summer flu home from day camp, and the washing machine started flooding our laundry room. We buy our water, so I had to shut off all the water to the house. I couldn't find his notes from our plumber, so I could make sure I had everything off. So I called him. He wasn't answering his phone, so I tried the main office number. The woman, who was supposed to be his admin, didn't even know his name. I was freaking out at this point, so she transferred me to the hiring manager, and after I freaked out some more, she told me the truth. My husband did great on the phone screen and interview, but he never passed the reference check. He didn't work there. He'd never worked there. They would never have hired him after what his last company said about him. He'd been fired for sexually harassing a woman at a work conference. He lied about why he was fired. He lied about finding a job. He lied about where the money he's been using to pay for his things has come from. He's been using our savings. He's been lying to me from the start. He probably lied about the girl on the volleyball team. I've been loving and supporting and enabling this monster for 16 years. I'm talking to a divorce lawyer soon, but it's so shocking. I feel so stupid. How did I not know? And how am I going to explain this to our son? This is going to rock his world, and I mean like an earthquake, not a concert. He's 9 years old. What the hell do I tell him? Too long didn't read. My high school sweetheart has a history of being weird about women. Got fired for sexual harassment, lied about it, lied about getting a new job, and has been burning through our savings. I'm going to divorce him, but I don't know if or what I should tell our son about what's really happening. In the comments of the best of, there seems to be another update from the wife. So this is why my Reddit account has been emailing me about weird stuff. I've been trying to figure out where I should post some new questions/concerns I've had. Thanks to Renha27 for pointing me here. I was really confused. Don't want to go into too much detail, and I'm tired all the time right now. I had our second son in December of 2019. Divorce was finalized in February of 2020. Ex tried to fight me on the divorce and tried to fight me on child support and tried to fight me on custody. He fought everything until the courts closed because of lockdown. Divorce sucks. Divorce when your hospital is overrun with COVID and you have a 3-month-old and a 10-year-old and the courts keep closing sucks a lot. My best non-medical friend moved into our house and has helped with watching Son and Son 2. Finally got a judgment in like December of 2020 that X has to pay child support. LOL. Because of committing sex crime and lying about finances and threatening to take Son and run, he was having supervised visitation until March of 2021. He has spent the whole pandemic telling Son that if I loved him, I would quit my job and that I'm going to get COVID and die. He refuses to let Son get vaccinated, even though he's eligible now. Says Son should only mask because long-term effects of vaccine not known. Try not to roll my eyes out of my head every time I talk to him. Low-key dating best friend/roommate who is a woman. So, that happened. Son doesn't know yet and not sure when to tell him. Not sure how permanent it is. Divorce is weird. COVID is weird. Also, what's actually even worse is that according to the wife in her comment history, he wasn't just making lewd comments to her, he was actively through his swimsuit while making those comments at the woman at the hotel conference. That's what he was fired for. What was that? That's why the CCTV footage was so damning. It wasn't just him making lewd comments at her, it was him actively in his swim trunks. I hope in the past 4 or 5 years that it's been since this was posted, that OP has gotten everything that he's deserved. You fucking sick creep. Posted UhOhConsequences by Ashes to Prove It. This is the best of. The best of was collected by JoJo's Bees, and the original OP is Throw RA Wart. Posted to r/relationship advice August 23rd, 2025. My best friend, 28 female, confessed her feelings for me, 27 male. I feel the same way. Will this ruin our relationship? My best friend and I have been friends for 8 years now. She is literally my ride or die, and we've been inseparable. So we were stationed together, went to the same school, did ROTC together. I commissioned in the reserves and got a job living in DC together. We don't live together, but live in the area. I live and work in DC proper, but she lives just outside of DC. Neither one of us are from DC, but made conscious decisions to go to school together in Clark, Atlanta, and move in the same area. She's genuinely my soulmate. I love her so much, but we were never together because she wasn't relationship material. She told me when we first met, we were at Fort Hood, that she's not a good girl, and because she cares, she's letting me know. She was right. I saw her do every guy she talked to dirty. She felt no shame either, but she loved me too much to lead me on like she did with them. She was dating this one guy when we moved to DC and slept with his brother. I was used to her, but even that was low. I also have been in a relationship for 2 years now, and just recently moved in with my girlfriend. I love her, but she's not my best friend, who I know the universe put me on this planet for her. My best friend told me and said she loves me, that she's actually ready to settle down and build with me. I never thought this would come. She told me she understands if it's too late. She always loved me, that's why when we met, she wanted to be honest and not treat me like the other guys. I want to build with her too, but it's scary. I have a girlfriend and we live together. While she's not my best friend, my girlfriend is great and will make a wonderful wife, but I don't know if she's for me. But I guess my biggest fear is, what if my best friend thinks she's ready to build, but she's not? We could potentially ruin our friendship if we pursue this. I've always wanted to build with her and be with her, but I'm petrified right now. Comments. Pickle babies on a roof. You do not deserve your girlfriend at all. And hopefully she finds another man that'll treat her better, considering you're even entertaining this. Sure as shit, you've emotionally cheated. Leave your girlfriend and tell her exactly why you are. Tell her you've been leading her on for years while being in love with your best friend. And now you want to dump her for your best friend. Your girlfriend deserves to know the truth, and hopefully your relationship with your bestie ends horribly with her doing the exact same thing she's done to all the other men. Skull emoji. Good riddance to you and your 304 friend, seriously. OP responds, I did not lead her on. I had no idea this was in the cards. I didn't think she would wake up one day and be like, I'm ready to build. I was just living my life. User dhoused1356 comments, you misunderstand. You don't commit to someone if there's a possibility of another person snapping their fingers and getting you to drop your current relationship. Your girlfriend didn't sign up for commitment unless bestie says otherwise. Doesn't matter if you thought the chance was barely there. You knew if it happened, you would drop whoever you were dating because they could never oust the person you have on that pedestal. User Talking Mice comments, if you're considering leaving your girlfriend for a girl that literally cheats, you ain't proper bright, mate. Suspicious 47870 comments, so what are you gonna do when your best friend cheats on you and leaves you for someone else? Go back to the girlfriend who actually wants you and loves you? The truth is, she just wants you because you're getting serious with your girlfriend. She does not really want to be with you. User OpenTeacher3569 comments, you're gonna get fucked over so bad, lol. Equivalent Being 500 comments, you knew that if one day your best friend told you that she wanted to be with you, you'd agree to it. So for 2 years, you led your girlfriend on. 2 years of her thinking she's building a life with you and that you love her, when actually you've been in love with someone else the whole time. You should never have been in a relationship if you knew this. Your girlfriend deserves so much better than you. OP responds, so, honest question, I was just supposed to not live my life? Just sit around hoping she would eventually change her mind and be ready for a relationship? User Cat1701 comments, what you do is get over her and make sure if you commit to someone, you're committing to them, not committing to them for the time being unless the better option becomes available. If you're so in love with this friend, you can't truly commit to or love another person seriously, you date only casually until you feel you can let go of that adherence to your friend. No one deserves to have their partner only dating them as a consolation prize because they're silently yearning for what they believe is their one true soulmate, who they drop the current partner for in an instant. Miss Reanimator comments, your best friend is 100% going to cheat on you. She saw you getting serious with someone else, realized her plan B was about to be off the table, and decided she couldn't have that now, could she? So, you break up with your girlfriend for the supposed love of your life. Only now that she has you, there's no fun in it anymore. She'll cheat. You'll probably forgive her. She'll do it again. Rinse and repeat until you finally grow a spine and dump her. She'll move on quickly without regret because, as you already know from her past exploits, she's a selfish person who only cares for her own comfort. And you? Hopefully, you'll be alone forever because you're also an incredibly selfish as well as stupid individual. Nobody deserves to be saddled with that. I've seen this exact scenario play out. I was in your girlfriend's shoes. Trust me, the pain she feels when you break up with her is nothing compared to the enjoyment she will inevitably get from your impending train wreck. OP responds, I'm not worried. There's a reason she waited until she was ready for something serious. If she wasn't ready, she would have told me. Just like she did when we first became friends. But I do feel bad for my girlfriend. She's an amazing/awesome girlfriend, and I know she'll find her person as much as this is difficult for both of us. It will ultimately be best for both of us. Update, August 24th, 2025, the next day. Okay, I took a lot of heat, but I just want to give everyone an update and some better context to understand the situation better. A major thing I want to address is people feeling that I led my ex-girlfriend on, or that my best friend is using me. Interesting how she's now the ex-girlfriend. So, for one, I've known my best friend for years now. From when we were just in the barracks together, to now successful adults. Our connection was almost instant and organic. We naturally started being everywhere together. Everywhere I was, she was, and vice versa. People thought we were together, but it was just a vibe. I did tell her about my feelings, and she confessed she felt the same, but told me she's not a good woman. She says she's going to be honest with me because she cares about me too much to hurt me. And with other men, she had no care in hurting them. We agreed to stay friends and everything was normal. We started making life plans together. We both agreed to leave active duty and go do ROTC together. We had intense discussions on where we wanted to live and go to school together. Went to school, did ROTC together, commissioned in the reserves. We've been by each other's side every step of the way. As we moved to DC, we continued, but things were on another level. Trips, friend group, etc. DC is just an awesome place to be. I love it here. She continued her behavior, and I've always condemned it. I met my girlfriend, and she is an amazing person. Super kind, sweet, family-oriented, etc. Even as we developed and moved in together, our relationship grew. We have this great routine, a calendar of when it's my days to cook/clean and vice versa. DC is expensive, even with the money I make. So when you can have a partner that can cover half the bills and split the cooking/cleaning, it's great. She's an amazing partner and will be a fantastic wife/mother to anyone. I promise that. I wasn't leading her on, I just didn't think it was possible for my best friend and I to be together. It's like someone being in love with a celebrity. Like, you don't just think I'll marry my celebrity crush. But I'm really a caring person, and it hurts me that I hurt her. But I do know that she will find the person meant for her. I told her this morning about everything, and she said some very mean things that was very out of character for her because she's normally a sweetheart, genuinely a kind, pure soul. I'm giving her some grace because I'm sure it was a lot to take in. I'll be moving in with my best friend. I grabbed some stuff to take to her place, and my friend and his wife will get the rest of my things. I told her I can either pay for her to break the lease so she can find another place or continue paying my half until the end of the lease, but she's still processing everything. I'm excited and very confident that my best friend would never hurt me. She has always treated me differently. She could have hurt me, but she was always looking out, and instead of playing me, she was honest. I can say I'm the only guy she's been true with because the trust and friendship we built. I hope this gives everyone more clarity and understanding of this messed up situation. Comments. XLMNOP123 comments. No, we understood the situation just fine. You're the one who doesn't. Anyone who would confess their feelings to their friend who is in a serious relationship is trash, full stop. She has not changed. You used your girlfriend as a placeholder for sex and shared expenses, and now you will drop her because your trash BFF has crooked her finger. That makes you trash too. And the fact that you would dare to actually complain that your girlfriend wasn't nice when you told her that she had been wasting her time for years, but you'll give her grace? You're the only one needing grace here, not her. She's entitled to call you out for being the trash you are. Karma can't come quick enough for you, son. Editor's note, OP posted a second update 2 months later, but then deleted it. The update was then recovered and copy and pasted into the comments of the first update posted by Remarkable Low 643. I added paragraphs for readability. Update, October 20th, 2025, 2 months later. I'll address the elephant in the room. You were right, and my best friend was not ready for a relationship. I don't know if she was doing it purposely or not. She says she didn't, and she just has a problem, but either way, it hurts. Especially because I had a really good relationship with my girlfriend, which she asked me to leave. When we got together, the first 3 weeks were amazing. I think it was the most amazing time of both of our lives. But then she changed and went back to her old habits. First, she randomly unshared her location with me, which was like, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark? I pointed out that it's just strange, because even before we were together, we had each other's location. She said she never shared her location with any of her partners. She likes giving each other that extra privacy. In my head, I was thinking, you literally cheated on every single guy you've been with. But I dropped it and just respected her boundaries. I didn't want to hold her past against her. But a couple of days later, a buddy of mine says he saw her on Tinder when scrolling and sends me a screenshot. I confront her, and she says it must still be showing her profile as a glitch because she deleted the app. I trusted her, but I was thinking it's always something with her. The last straw was Saturday. She said she was going out with her friend and they're getting crepes and relaxing. But the day before, her friend posted herself on a flight going to Jamaica. I didn't think she would do a Jamaica day trip. So when my best friend got home, I did something I never did and went through her phone. It was horrible. I cried, man. She cried and said she's sorry that she loves me and that she needs help. She's going to get therapy and have some of the sisters at church mentor her. She wants to become the woman I deserve, but I told her become that first because she wasn't ready, and I left my girlfriend for you just for her to treat me like this. It hurts because she was my best friend. Afterwards, I moved back with my ex because I was still in the lease, but she didn't want me in there. She's hurt by me breaking up with her for my best friend, and I really hate that I hurt her, but I remind her every day she'll be a great wife and find the man meant for us. I was able to talk to the property manager and he's willing to let us transfer to a cheaper floor plan. She's talking to the management about basically letting us break our lease if we both stay in the property. We share a 2-bedroom, but we would be getting our own 1-bedroom apartment. But she's not sure she wants to be on the same property as me. But we have a government shutdown, and I'm not trying to spend unnecessary money. I'm really hurting right now and just need some advice. Dude, you suck. Damn, the exact thing that literally everyone warned you would happen, happened. And your response was then to strong-arm yourself back into your ex's life as kind of, oh, you can't stop me, my name's still in the lease, so I'm gonna live here now. It's gross. Oh, but guys, we don't understand. He's a really caring person, though. I gotta love that post with the title of, "My best friend confessed her feelings for me. I feel the same way. Will this ruin our relationship?" Turns out to be just this clusterfuck of a mess of a guy having an emotional affair with his current girlfriend for his best friend who's just a walking train wreck, who he's confident would never hurt him, and how excited he is. Only then to delete the update where he admits that he fucked up and cowers behind it, and the fact that he actually just strong-armed his ex into moving back in with her. That is one healthy dose of consequences that OP is being served up here. Good God. OP's bestie just wanted to prove that he was still wrapped around her finger and could have him at any time that she wanted. She never had to worry about it previously because he was just latched onto her. They were making plans together despite, not actually being in a relationship and long-term goals together. So she never really had to worry about it. He would always be there. But the moment he got serious, well, let's put this to the test here and see if we can re-wrap him around the finger. And sure as shit, still has full control. Reddit tried to warn you, bud, and it wasn't a matter of you not giving enough information. In fact, when you gave more information, it just made it so goddamn crystal clear that she was just pretty much pulling your strings for the fun of it. Goddamn, man. This one actually comes from UhOhConsequences. It was originally posted to r/am I the asshole. Am I the asshole for blocking my neighbors and never speaking to them again? I forgot about this situation since it happened a couple of months ago. All of a sudden, I remembered it, and it has me wondering if my neighbors or I are in the wrong. Perhaps we're both in the wrong. We used to live in a duplex. My neighbors had their side of the yard and vice versa. We had our kids' toys on our side and their kids' toys on their side. They all played with each other's toys, and we always had our kids put everything back to where they got it from. The neighbors had a swing set that looked like it was for smaller kids, but all of our kids played on it because it never looked like it couldn't handle their weight. One day, their kids and our kids were playing on the swings, and I think with how hard they were swinging, it made the part that was holding the swings up fall down. When I found out, I felt really bad and was going to talk to the mom about it. I wanted to help out with payment on getting another swing set. I wanted to message her about it and tell her, but my partner said to just see if they say something. They never did, and I still felt bad. Probably 2 or 3 days later, I was walking outside, and the neighbors were outside as well. I was nervous about the situation, but I still wanted to help pay for the damage. I said, "Hey," to start the conversation, but she ignored me and just walked off towards the back of the house. I know she heard me because her husband was sitting down outside, and he was just smirking at what he saw. I felt bad because I reached out just to get ignored. I thought we were friends because we talked whenever we would see each other or when our kids were playing outside. I also felt like we bonded at a little New Year's hangout they had last year. Afterwards, I just stopped reaching out, and plus we never really ran into each other. I would often see her husband, and we used to greet each other, but then I saw that he would avoid me / not talk to me as well. What bothered me is that they would greet and talk to my partner, but not me. One day, coming home from the gym at night, I kept running onto this concrete parking block on my side of the parking area. Eventually, it got really annoying, and I just moved it to the side where it was in the first place when we first moved in. The next morning, the neighbor messaged me saying that she saw the block was removed and if I could put it back. This kind of made me feel mad because I felt the way she was talking to me was forced fake niceness. Honestly, I was like, wow, now she wants to talk to me after ignoring me. Regardless, I told her I couldn't because it was blocking my car being safely parked. She stated that since we share a walking entrance that I needed to leave space. I understood her reasoning, but later she stated that she was the one who placed the block there in the first place. I always wondered who and why it kept getting pushed further back towards the middle of my parking spot than just the walkway entrance. This just made me upset and uncomfortable knowing she did that. I responded with, "I'll be more mindful of the walkway entrance," and blocked her after that. Afterwards, we never spoke. A couple of days later, I went to the store with my kids. I saw them, and my kids, being friendly, said hi to his friends, but they just ignored him. Honestly, that made me upset because my son was sad they didn't say anything back. I said out loud, "Let's just go this way. It's obvious that they don't want to talk to us." We arrived home, and they arrived a couple of hours later. Since we live in a duplex, we can hear certain voices if they're obviously yelling or screaming. I heard her being upset, not sure about what, but I heard that she can't stand people like that. Not sure what that was about. I just raised the volume on my TV to ignore that. Days passed and I was on the computer, and the kids were out with their dad, so it was quiet. I overheard her basically raising her voice that it's not her fault that she was a bad mom. Honestly? Like, what? Still not knowing what she was referring to, the other time I kept hearing comments that were obviously said out loud on purpose. So I know that she was just making comments for me to hear. I kept ignoring it. I eventually ran into her and her husband, and I would just ignore them as well. One day, their kids asked me if my kids could play outside, but I was leaving and wasn't going to be able to watch them playing outside. I told the kids next door that they're in their room right now, but maybe tomorrow they can play outside. The next day, you could hear the mom being upset over what she thinks I could have said to them. Honestly, I spoke to my partner about it, and he said, "Why would she think that?" I responded with, "I don't know. But I wouldn't be fighting little kids or talking to them in an ugly way." He stated that maybe she was projecting on how she would have acted towards our kids. The next day, our kids played with them, but their kids never came onto our side, so I just wanted to be cautious and told my kids to just play in the middle. Eventually, the next door kids stopped coming out to play. I didn't worry much about it because we were about to move. Definitely just wanting to hear what were your thoughts on this situation. Am I the asshole, or are we both mutually the assholes? I think that everyone sucks here, and no one in this story is somehow capable of talking like an adult. Assuming, of course, OP is being a reliable narrator. Sometimes the waters can be muddied, and in this one, it feels like there's a lot of information missing here, and it could be that OP just doesn't have the main perspective of what's going on, or perhaps even OP's being purposefully kept in the dark, like, let's say, by her husband. Because something feels off with the fact that they're being extremely cold and harsh towards OP, but not towards her husband. Almost as if perhaps, maybe, someone got thrown under the bus for the Swingset. That is 100% a tinfoil hat theory, though. Like, there is no evidence to prove either way. Everyone sucks for not being able to talk to each other like adults. Your husband sucks for convincing you that, we'll just not bring it up unless they say something about it, when it comes to your kids and their kids breaking the swing set. You suck for blocking your neighbor over something like a cement block, don't really know what that whole situation's fully about, but also for just not going to your neighbors and trying to sort this out like adults. Then your neighbor sucks for all the underhanded sly comments they kept making through the walls. Maybe they were talking about something else. Maybe they were talking about you. Who knows? But either way, in this situation, the only ones who are actually suffering here are your kids and their kids. Because no one's willing to actually talk like an adult. It's still incredibly frustrating, though, that you guys broke something of your neighbors that they were letting your kids use and decided just to see if they would notice. That really sucks. Well, what do we have here? Is this someone who made it to the outro? Wow. Look at you go. Anyways, don't forget gamer subs. Use code EYES at checkout. They got caffeine and caffeine-free and a bunch of other stuff, and every purchase made supports the channel directly. They also do have non-anime stuff if, like, the anime girls are just something you're not interested in, which is entirely understandable. But that is something they have in their storefront, in case you still want to support the channel, but don't want to fill your house with lewd anime women. So if you didn't know that was an option, it is. I also wanted to extend a thank you to everyone who's currently still a member. It's just incredible how many of you are willing to support the channel like that. Even if it is just a small amount, it does mean the world to me. And even those of you who aren't able to support through memberships, who support by liking, commenting, watching the full video, You guys are also just wonderful. And I'm just incredibly lucky to have an audience like you guys. So, yeah. Not very good at this kind of emotional aspect of things. So, I'll see y'all next time. Tomorrow.